Walker becomes the first position player and second Canadian-born member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Today, Derek Jeter joins a distinguished list of Yankee greats in taking his rightful place in the Hall of Fame.
396 out of
397.
Oh, one shy.
Round of applause for Derek Jeter and Larry Walker, the two brand new members of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I just have to come out and say, who's the dummy that didn't vote for Derek Jeter? I understand that this is a day of celebration, but when you have 396 votes and you have one guy, the 397th person, to say, you know what, Derek Jeter, maybe it was the defense, I'm not going to vote for him today. What are you thinking? This dude is pretty much the Steve Bartman of Hall of Fame voting, and all of the Yankees fans, like, you just annoyed and pissed off the wrong fan base. I'm gonna go ahead and rep my Yankees. This is a Giancarlo Stanton jersey, just so you guys, I'm being transparent with you. I'm not a Yankees fan, I'm not a Rockies fan, anything like that, but I do think that Derek Jeter deserved to be a unanimous Hall of Famer, just like Mariano Rivera, just like Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know what's the deal with voters and not wanting to put someone as a unanimous Hall of Famer? If you don't think that Derek Jeter should be in the Hall, you obviously do not know baseball. But that's the rant for today. I just needed to get that out real quick because when I heard that he had a 99.7 yes rate, I almost cried for the guy, but he's going to be remembered as a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I want to read off something real quick. So just to talk about Derek Jeter, this is not going to be the longest video, but I did not realize this. Derek Jeter is the only human being in baseball history to have 3,000 base hits, 250 home runs, 350 stolen bases, and 1,300 RBIs in a single career. So a quick round of applause for the captain, almost the unanimous captain, but of course there has to be that one guy that wants to be special. Now, I'm not going to condone the witch hunt that is going to ensue because every New York Yankees fan and maybe even every baseball fan and their mama is going to try and find this guy. And the witch hunt is going to be a thing where they're going to send this dude some letters, some very not nice letters. And I honestly, my heart kind of goes out to him because he's going to be Steve Bartman of New York. So that's unfortunate. But Derek Jeter, of course, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And then Larry Walker, my man, we have all been pulling for him the last week, maybe 2 weeks. He finally gets in on his last year of eligibility. You get 10 years to do it. He gets in by 6 votes. So we're going to talk about the other players that did not make it, but Larry Walker is able to break the mold. He will be the reason why Todd Helton is going to make the Hall of Fame sometime in the next few years. Also, Nolan Arenado, maybe he can win an MVP because if the Coors Field effect argument is now being torn down, maybe you can apply that to MVP conversations with Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story, and maybe in the future, Brendan Rodgers. So I'm happy, super happy that another Canadian as well as a Rocky is in the Hall of Fame. Larry Walker, a 7-time Gold Glove winner, 300 plus home runs. He hit 350 a couple times in his career. Well deserved, and in my opinion, a little late, but rather be late than never, if that's even a saying. So yeah, congratulations to Derek Jeter and Larry Walker. They're going to be in their shiny brand new Hall of Fame coats very soon. And I think at this point, we're going to talk about the guys that were not inducted. So real quick, if I take a look at my data, Curt Schilling just missed the vote by 5%. Remember, guys, you need 75% of the votes to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I don't remember the last time that only 2 dudes were inducted. Maybe it's just I'm young. I'm only 23 years old, so I can't remember if there was a time where only 1 guy was inducted or 2 guys, maybe 3 guys. But Curt Schilling, he falls short at 70%. After him, we have Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Omar Vizquel, Scott Rolen, and Billy Wagner. Surprisingly, Billy Wagner only has 31.7% of the vote, and Omar Vizquel at 52.6%. In my opinion, I feel like Scott Rolen is going to be the next Larry Walker because a few years ago, back in 2015, 2016, Larry Walker had just 15% of the votes, and he jumps 60% in just under 5 years. So that could happen to Scott Rolen. I did some digging, and his career was actually super underrated. I always knew that he was good, but I didn't know that he was Hall of Fame worthy, and I think that he's going to get in, maybe not in his next 3 or 4 years, but definitely before he is off the ballot. Now we have to talk about the top 3 guys that were left off. Curt Schilling, he's probably left out because he's a very opinionated guy, and I think that baseball fans, they really like to stick it to you in times that they can, so I think all of his opinions really cost him, although his stats, just like Scott Rolen, are really, really, really good. I just don't know if they're Hall of Fame worthy, but 70% is nothing to scoff at. Next up is Roger Clemens, who has more votes than Barry Bonds at 61%. I don't think that Clemens is ever going to get in. They did a pre-election show where they talked about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, and 3 out of the 3 voters who all have Hall of Fame votes pretty much said that they have no chance of getting in, because if you have 70% like Curt Schilling, that's a pretty good odds. But when your voting percentages don't change year after year after year, which is what's happening with Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, it's probably not going to happen. But that's it for the guys that were not involved. Omar Vizquel probably gets in the next 5 seasons. But congratulations to Derek Jeter and Larry Walker. I'm going to say that Jeter, he meant more to baseball than the normal superstar. So that's why I think he should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, though, he misses it by 1 single vote. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Congratulations to Derek Jeter, the captain, and Larry Walker. Some superstars, and they definitely deserve to be in. Just kind of unfortunate how this is going to be known as the almost unanimous as opposed to a day of celebration. So congrats, man. There's your day of fame for the one guy who didn't vote for Derek Jeter. What a shame.
Quoted earlier as sending something out that I didn't think it was happening, and I actually truly meant that. I had the numbers in my head and was prepared for no call, and then the opposite happened, and that call comes, and all of a sudden you can't breathe. So it was the day flew by pretty quick, but when that phone rang and I saw the number, heart skips a beat.
Let's bring in Derek Jeter. Derek, thank you so much for joining us here on MLB Network. Newly elected Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. Your reaction to that?
Can you say it again?
You're never thinking about the Hall of Fame. I mean, this is the highest honor that can be given to any individual that plays this game. I was speechless when I got the call. Everyone said, anticipate a phone call coming at such and such time. But quite frankly, I was pretty nervous. And when I got it, I really didn't know what to say.
Hey, Derek, it's Bob Costas. Congratulations. It's interesting what you just said, because in your case, your election was a foregone conclusion. So maybe some people would think, well, you're kind of blasé about it. But you just said that you got goosebumps, I guess, when you got that call. When the call comes, whether it's expected or not, it's still a life-changing moment.
No question, no question. I got the phone call from Jack O'Connell. I've known Jack for quite some time, obviously in New York, I'm one that I don't like to jinx anything, so I never like to talk about it. I try not to pay much attention to the news, and everyone's saying, oh, well, it's a foregone conclusion, like you said, but I never looked at it that way, because this is something that's very difficult. You're talking about 1% of the players that have ever played this game get into the Hall of Fame, so it's very humbling.